Hello, this is Timothy Dolan, a professional futurist, a member of the Association of Professional Futurists, and a former director of 3 graduate public affairs and public policy, public administration graduate programs. I wanted to speak on congressional redistricting. 2020 is an election year that is highly consequential, just as 2010 was, much to the chagrin of the Democrats, who appear to have not grasped the fact that that was a consequential election year where, under constitutional mandate, every 10 years we redistrict based upon census data, but also highly manipulated by state legislatures in most states, not all states. Some states, like California, for example, have a more nonpartisan redistricting plan, which we can only hope might become a model in the rest of the United States. We can only speculate about that. In fact, unfortunately, because of the highly partisan nature of politics these days, we are seeing, I would say, mostly on the Republican side, a tendency, a disturbing tendency, to basically operate on increasingly non-democratic tactics, including voter suppression, which makes no sense at all. Supposedly, they are putting up a kind of a straw man argument that illegal immigrants and undocumented people are registering to vote and then voting, which makes no sense at all. If you are an undocumented person, you are keeping your head down, and the last thing in the world you want to do is try to fraudulently and illegally register to vote. That simply doesn't pass the laugh test. And yet there are people out there. I'm talking to you, Representative King, and the good people of Iowa. What are you thinking? It makes no sense. Let's move on, because there are other means to gerrymander to undemocratic advantage, and the GOP has embraced these tendencies to the extent to which, in places like Texas and North Carolina, you've had courts step in to say, cease and desist, you've gone too far. Your redistricting is so anti-democratic that it doesn't pass constitutional muster. And I'm afraid that doesn't stop partisan gerrymandering from taking place. So I guess the key message here is 2020 is another major election year in which we will be electing not only federal officials, but many state legislatures and governors who often have a say in redistricting as well. If you want a more democratic redistricting in your respective states, pay attention to those elections, because right now we are having a situation where democracy is definitely at risk on many quarters, and not the least of which in a system that is indeed rigged, though not in the way that President Trump is alluding to. It is rigged at the congressional district level. Let's get our democracy back, redistrict more fairly, consider the California model, and again, vote, and vote in an intelligent way. Be aware of the consequences of electing people who are going to advocate for democratic systems. Thank you.